because she just never gives up. I don't know if you saw my last video, it was about playing and creativity, and the fact that creativity is like this ball-throwing game, an infinite game. There's always new possibilities, new learnings, new opportunities, new things that we can go into. And it never ends. Like, even when you finish your project, when you do your work, there's always that little knock at the door, wanting more. And here's my little knock. This morning is my puppy who wants me to throw the ball. Can you sit down for a minute and we can have a talk? Good sit. Yes, good girl. If you're you're 45 and you've been clocking in and out of work for the past at least 20 years, maybe 25, and you're starting to realize something's up, something's not fitting, something's not right. Feels like there's, to quote The Matrix, a splinter in your mind. There's something that's not being very clear and straightforward. This might be part of the creative midlife crisis that I'm seeing a lot of. A lot of people I'm talking to are figuring out that they've gotten this far in life and they've put their energy and their effort into their work, into their kind of corporate jobs, and they've gotten to a point where it's not as fulfilling as it once was. And it's not that, like, it doesn't pay the bills, it's not that there aren't elements of it that are helpful, useful, still challenging, but deep down there's something missing. And often I find when I talk to people, that is around the creativity and being able to express that and have it part of their lives. And that can look everything from, hey, I just want to make some time in the evenings or on the weekends to get my practice back up and running, all the way through to, hey, I've had enough of this corporate life. It's time for me to follow my heart and go after the thing that I know I'm supposed to be doing. And that could be starting their own business. It could be pursuing their life dream of writing a book. I have a friend who started a publishing company, publishing books, the most amazing books. I've shared some of them before, and like, it's a really cool story to see where he's gotten to. Oh, hang on. I am here to drink my coffee. Now, and I have 2 puppies. And age is not really specific in this either. Like, I've talked to 2 people over the past little while who are in their mid-30s. They're kind of young dads. No, they're young and their kids are young. And they've just realized that, it's beautiful to have a family, but also there's something still missing. Like, they've gotten through the real crazy first year or 2, or maybe their second kid has shown up, but they're also going, there's something deeply important that I need to work on and prioritize. So whether you're 35, 45 or 55, I think there's a point where you get to and you go, hey, there's something deep down that I'm meant to be focusing on. The allure and promise of a corporate job that would become something else and kind of take me on this journey, and I'd level up. And I think a lot of us have been there. I've been there. I mean, I started working in Ireland's biggest bank when I was in my early 20s. And like, from then I kind of got into tech jobs, working in IT, and then later on in tech jobs, working in other roles. And there was always an allure of something promising and creative, particularly going somewhere like Apple to work, where it's full of possibilities, and certainly at the time when I joined, it was on the cutting edge. I was interviewed the day before the iPhone 3G was being launched, and it was just, an innovative and wonderful place to go and work. But ultimately, deep down, it didn't meet all of the needs I had to be creative, to be explorative, to be truly myself. So even at that time, kind of almost 20 years ago in London, when I started working for Apple, we had our first kid, but I also had like a small little studio set up in the corner so I could make music. Go on. I had been DJing for years, and when our son was born, my wife was like, do you think you're going to be flying around Europe DJing on the weekend, like leaving on a Friday and coming back on Sunday? I'm pretty sure the answer was no. And that was also okay. Like, I didn't feel like that was a restrictive thing, or I felt it was the appropriate choice to be making as a father of young kids, and I'd leave the DJing to the younger ones, let them get on with it. Now, I love DJing, but it also led me to get into music. You girls are going crazy. Are you having fun? I'm glad you're here for this, because this is part of the joy of dog parenting. They entertain themselves with the ball. I'm sure you're not even paying any attention to what I'm saying. We're just watching them. But hey, that's okay. Sometimes a good video is about the subplot and not just the plot. Hey girls, are you having fun? You having fun? Yes, good girl. Good girl, Ivy. Aren't you the best? Yes. Now, Robin's got a stick. She's happy. And you've got the ball. I'll let them settle down for a second. And in my own journey, part of the reason why we're in France is when I joined Indeed, I found out that they had a policy where you were able to work out of your home country for up to 6 weeks and work remotely. Now, we were all working remotely. This was 2022 when I joined Indeed. But also, I was managing a team that was remote. None of the people that reported to me were in Dublin. My manager was in New York. But my manager was also very, what's the right word? He was aware of the fact that this wasn't a life and death situation. We were training salespeople to sell a HR product. He was like, look, we're not curing cancer. It's not a life and death situation. I know that your work is not dependent on the amount of hours that you sit down in front of the computer. I'm not tracking that. We don't have any way of tracking it. I will know if your work's getting done by the quality of your team's responses to how's Riley doing, as well as the sales leaders all across Europe and Asia, like how they feel like your team's responding to them and training their teams. That's how I'll tell if your work's getting done, not if you're answering every email within 15 minutes or you're sitting down for 40 hours in front of your laptop. And that's part of the piece as managers and leaders. We lead through our teams. It's not that I was necessarily doing the work. I was meeting with business leaders, understanding their needs and their requests, and helping my teams translate that into training that they were able to deliver. So there was an entire process and system there. And it was lovely to have that sense of freedom and autonomy and connectedness. And I think that's the definition of working for a good boss and a good leader, is that they kind of trust you to get on with the work and to find the right solutions, whether they're practical or creative or innovative, whatever that looks like. I think that's really helpful. So there was definitely an element of when I went there that I was able to bring my creativity to the role. And one of the reasons my boss Dave said that he hired me is because, oh, we've seen your YouTube channel. We really think that just-in-time learning, like making videos, short-form, long-form videos to the topics will be really helpful. So you're going to bring a useful skill set with you. I only ended up making a handful of videos when I was there, and it wasn't really a skill set that there was space for, certainly at the level that I was operating at. I was able to encourage my team into those things, but it just meant that the kind of promise of creativity in my role never really transpired into anything genuine and a regular occurrence. So the great thing about having the opportunity to come away to France for the first time we came, I think we came for 6 weeks, and I worked for 5 and I took a week's holiday for the other week, was just that I was able to realize there are ways in which we can leverage the system, leverage the opportunities that we have to step into these roles and step into these places to find space in our lives for that creativity. And if you are in a corporate role or just in a busy role and your life is busy, you're either a parent to doggies or cats, or you're a parent to children, small, medium, large, whatever shape they come in, but you're coming to this point where you're going, hey, this isn't everything I thought it was. This isn't everything I signed up for. And there's a yearning inside me, a desire for something more. And I know that I'm frustrated about getting to my creativity. Then I think you've come to the right place in terms of this channel. And I have resources to help with that. The first thing that I've got to offer is my Space for Creativity starter kit. And really just addresses the fact that we're spending so much time in front of our screens. Particularly if you've got a corporate role and you're crunching numbers in Excel, or you're preparing presentations and you're on meetings with business leaders and partners, your team, or you're just on Slack, you're answering emails, you're getting on Teams, whatever tools you're using, whatever your day looks like, you're probably spending a lot of time in front of a screen. But then we also have these wonderful devices in our pockets, and we're connected to social networks that want our attention. I think that we're all averaging an hour or two of looking at our screens and looking at social to keep us going. We want to be stimulated, we want to be engaged, and we're so used to, and I would almost use the word addicted to our screens and our devices. But I promise you, if you can put your phone down more regularly, you will have more time to think about concepts and ideas, you'll be innovative, you'll think clearer. And I think that was one of the things that I really underestimated, was when I was able to start putting my phone down, when I didn't bring it into my bedroom, when I didn't pick it up for the first kind of 4 to 6 hours in the day. If I needed to check my email, I'd go and do it on my computer in my office, but I'd walk away. I wouldn't bring my phone with me. I wouldn't look at it till later on. If I knew there was something urgent to check, absolutely I'd check it, but I would leave it out of the way. I would leave it awkwardly in different places around the house. But I just think that when you start to unhook from always needing your phone, and I don't know, every time you go to the bathroom, you pull it out. Every time you're boiling the kettle, you pull it out. Anytime you're standing waiting for public transport, you pull it out. Or your kids are coming out of school and you're sat in the car, you pull it out. To actually get past that, and I still get the nudges in my head to go, oh, I should look at that. And I've been doing this for months, if not a year at this point, trying to put my phone down. And you just start to find that there's more headspace, there's more clarity. It's easy for you to start thinking and processing about the things that are important to you, like what your next project is going to look like, or what steps you need to make in the right direction for whatever you're working on. And I would also suggest that you pair that up with something like journaling. The first thing I do in the morning is I get up, I make a cup of coffee, and I sit down on the couch, or I sit out here in the sunshine, I sit in the hammock, and I start just writing in my journal. Just very basic, processing what I did yesterday, what's going through my head, what I'm learning, what I'm unpacking, what's coming up as part of our time here in France, because we're now here a full week, and trying to go, okay, well, what's been going on and what does it look like? So the link is in the description for the starter kit, and that'll just help you to make a little bit more headspace and create some freedom for you to be able to just unpack and start to think through some of these things. If you need more help, there's also a link there for my website, and it details how we can work together. I do everything from working of a short period, so just like for 90 minutes, and can unpack how to help, like really dial that in. Or if you want to get more serious and think through, okay, here's where I'm stuck with my journey, and I want to figure out what's next. Maybe you don't even know what's next, but you just know that something is there. We can talk that through. I've trained as a life coach. I've also trained as a spiritual director, and I'm currently being trained as a ball thrower for this little dog. So give me 1 second. Go on. And I've helped possibly hundreds of people at this point, between the people who've been on my teams and the people who I've worked with as a coach and as a guide, to understand their journey, how to balance their life, their work, and that calling they have into the creative. I'd love to help you with that, if that's appropriate. But if we never even work together, it's really helpful for you to put down your phone and to start journaling and thinking through, what are the next steps that I want to take? Where am I? Where do I want to get to? And what are the blockages? You can do that just by yourself if you want to. But I also think it's really helpful to find accountability, find community, find other people that you can talk to about this. That might not be in the workspace. I've always found that a challenge, but I've also always been quite upfront and open with my leaders, telling them where I'm at. And it's really interesting. I remember after there was a reorg at Indeed, I ended up reporting to somebody who worked in Dublin. And in talking to him, it was really intriguing. I was talking about all this creative stuff that I wanted to do and that was important for me and how I encouraged people in that direction. He was like, oh, actually, I used to do a bit of kind of DJing and mixing, and my partner got me a controller, a DJ controller for a tractor for my laptop, and it's been sat in the home and I haven't really used it because I didn't feel like I had the time, but I really want to get back to it. So just even in opening up that conversation, it turned out that like my boss had a very similar situation to me, even though he was like 10 or 15 years younger than me. He had also been kind of DJing a little bit, kind of at parties with friends, but it was something that he connected to and something he had gotten disconnected to. So it was just really interesting that in being transparent and open about it as I was, that it turned out that he was also in that place of going, hey, yeah, I understand. I get where you're coming from. So just to say, it's sometimes worth having a deeper, wider conversation about that stuff. Through the magic of YouTube, it's going to suggest another video for you over here. And hopefully that'll help you go a little bit further into discovering how you can connect and unpack a little bit of what's going on for you. If you're in this midlife awakening into your creativity. Hopefully that'll be helpful for you, and hopefully more of my content can help. So stick around, follow along if you think that's going to be helpful. And for the next couple of weeks, I'll still be here in France, throwing my ball for this little girl. And come back, there'll be more. Leave a comment in the description if any of this resonated with you, or if there's any way in which I can help you. If you've got any questions, ping them in there as well. All right, for now, stay creative and take care. Bye now. Oh, you're not on there, are you? You're there.